Mantras of our Divine Mother. Our Divine Mother says the inner command is more sure than the mental conception. With always our love and blessings, says our Divine Mother. Sri Aurobindo Savitri, Book 3, the Book of the Divine Mother, Canto 4, The Vision and the Bone, page 383. Halfway he stops his star of destiny, a vast and vain, long-tried experiment, an ill-served high conception doubtfully done. The world's life falters on not seeing its goal, a zigzag towards unknown, dangerous ground, ever repeating its habitual walk, ever retreating after marches long and hardiest victories, without sure result, drawn endlessly an inconclusive game, in an ill-fitting and voluminous robe, a radiant purpose still conceals its face. A mighty blindness stumbles, hoping on, feeding its strength on gifts of luminous chance. Because the human instrument has failed, the Godhead frustrate sleeps within its seed, a spirit entangled in the forms it made. His failure is not failure whom God leads. Through all the slow, mysterious march goes on. An immutable power has made this mutable world. A self-fulfilling transcendence treads man's road. The driver of the soul upon its path, it knows its steps, its ways is inevitable. And how shall the end be vain when God is guide? However, man's mind may tire or fail his flesh, a will prevails, cancelling his conscious choice. The goal recedes, a boneless vastness calls, retreating into an immense unknown. There is no end to the world's stupendous march. There is no rest for the embodied soul. It must live on, describe all time's huge curve, and inflex, presses from the closed beyond, forbidding to him rest and earthly ease. Till he has found himself, he cannot pause. A light there is that leads, a power that aids. Unmarked, unfelt, it sees in him and acts. Ignorant, he forms the all-conscient in his depths. Human looks up to superhuman peaks, a borrower of supernature's gold. He paves his road to immortality. The high gods look on man and watch and choose today's impossibles for the future's space. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo talks about our Divine Mother in the book The Mother in chapter 6 and says, magnetic is the touch of her hands, and their occult and delicate influence refines mind, life, and body, and where she presses her feet course miraculous streams of an entrancing Ananda. Today, let us go through the words of Mona Sarkar from the book The Supreme, the Mother's Feet. As Sri Aurobindo quotes in Sri Aurobindo's Savitri, all nature dumbly calls to her alone to heal with her feet the aching throb of life and break the seals on the dim soul of man and kindle her fire in the closed heart of things. Our Divine Mother says, "It is through my feet that I transmit the power of transformation into matter, into the inconscience of the inert mass of this anguished earth." Didn't you know? For this, the child says, "No, mother, not like that. I have a vague idea," says the child, "from what I have read here and there, that your feet are destined to change the fate of the earth." Something like that. I do not remember exactly. Sweet mother, I feel that there is a force being transmitted through your feet. It is active, or rather dynamic, with the rays of light and a peace that settles down. It is as if your feet gives comfort to the being with a soothing love and sweetness. Sweet mother, it is at the same time many things that one feels. But the most important thing is that the force is very active, it is really strong. For this, our Divine Mother says, "Yes, my child, it is exactly that. Because it is the force of transformation, that is why it is dynamic. There is the light that penetrates to illumine the mass in the inconscience, the force to stimulate the tamas, and the joy to make it conscious. This force must penetrate this solid, obscure, rigid matter which is obstinate in its perversion and engulfed in falsehood, in order to bring light into the very bottom of this mass of inconscience, of this eternal obscurity that opposes with its immense and impenetrable energies in their unrelenting dynamism." Our Divine Mother says, "There is a presence which is bound up in matter by millions of cords. It is imprisoned there by an occult power from which it is very difficult to be free. Immobile, it rests in matter, forced by a blind compulsion, in the insentient depths where nothing moves, where nothing ever can, there where everything disappears in a resistance that opposes with an invincible power. That is why this transforming force must act with a sustained power till matter feels and is made more conscious of my presence, of the light that is spreading. I force down," says our Divine Mother, "I force it down until the light penetrates into the very heart of matter. You know, each step that I have placed on the earth, everywhere I have thrust this force and this light of transformation into the atoms and molecules of this matter, which are under my feet, to awaken them to the necessity of this work of transformation. Each step that I have placed deliberately on the earth has sent vibrations like echoes that ring and resound into the inertia of this matter, which sleeps in a torpor of inconscience, in order to awaken it to a rhythm of harmony and to a consciousness of beauty and truth. And how, with a spark of light, they awoke with joy and responded to my call by a tremendous stirring to participate in this effort towards transformation." It is unimaginable how a single moment they surrendered themselves to accept, to participate in this miracle of the transmutation, which will change the very nature of these elements. Not quite physically, but in the process of their subconscious formation, in their mental, in their dynamism, even in their actions and reactions, there will be a new guide, a light of the true consciousness to illumine them. It becomes something benign, something sacred, where the past, with its pernicious load, will be effaced. What a benevolent grace! What a sovereign peace! What a solace for these tiny entities that reside in the atoms who have been tortured! What a blessed hour! For these are the very particles of dust where I have placed my feet, which have been touched by the transforming light, by the power that triumphs, and first they try to bring an equilibrium, then to spread this compassion, they are active in changing their neighbors who are in turmoil because they had been disturbed by this chaos in the atmosphere. Our Divine Mother says, wherever I walked, wherever I have placed my feet, wherever on the earth our feet have touched the ground, that place has become sanctified, pure and receptive to our touch, to the transforming force that we have transmitted, that which has emanated from us, in order to act in the very depths of the inconscience. The light that has emanated from us has awakened these tiny little particles from millions of years of torpor to a new consciousness, to the vibration of an unknown Ananda. They have retained this consciousness and Ananda and have spread them all around to effectuate a change in their surrounding, as if to suffuse it through these molecules by an influence impregnated with a divine sweetness. I have touched the soul of the earth, of this matter which greets me with a gratitude that pours itself in an uncomparable surrender and invites me further to liberate it from all bondage. I have kindled in the very depths a flame to burn all impurities and to make it pure, and whatever it is that is taking place. Our Divine Mother says, wherever I look, there is a spark of light that beckons me. Wheresoever I have placed my feet, there is an activity of the force of transformation which makes the earth consciousness vibrate. How in this obscure and solid inconscience, this mass of ignorance of impenetrable tamas, where never a light was seen, now sees at last a clearing, a ray of light brightening up this tiny mass. In the very depths of the nucleus of these atoms, I have kindled a flame which awakens with a queer, like a palpitation, in this inert mass of inconscience, imprisoned in an immobile spiral of forces, as in the obscurity, eternity of ignorance. Her Divine Mother says it reveals a world where nothing was. In these blind realms of matter, where it lay inert and mute in a deep slumber without life, there comes a vibration emanating from the supreme will, and matter trembles and shudders and awakens in an ecstasy. There, where I have placed my feet, says our Divine Mother, there had been a formidable effect, various results of one kind or another. In some places, I noticed that the atmosphere thrills with this unique vibration, interspersed here and there, and those who are open and receptive, fulfilling the conditions demanded by these elements, have been able to awaken to this new consciousness. They have had only a slight glimpse of what this substance is, and they are astonished to find the effect it can bring about on the body without knowing what it is. You see, these people who are concerned with the physical, purely physical, not mental, that means physically physical, those who aim at the perfection of the body and consequently the perfection in the domain of exclusion of skill, strength, endurance in whatever form of physical expression, those who have consecrated their lives to pursue this ideal rigorously with an unparalleled will and discipline, these persons have felt something, have been touched by this transforming light. They express it in an ordinary way, a bit vaguely because they have not learned to express themselves properly. They did not have a formal education, but in spite of it, they express the essence of what they feel, of what they found by following these rigorous disciplines, this sense of an opening that made them invincible, this sense of exceeding oneself or going beyond all elements as if projected into the infinite, of flying without restraint in this physical body, as if entering into another dimension, another plane of consciousness, this sense of immortality. I see them, how this new force has seized them to transmute their life, their attitude, their self giving towards this unknown power which they do not understand. It is a marvelous work that these have been able to accomplish, and they will be crowned with further perfections because of their will to find something new and their simple attitude. In this effort, the earth invokes the Supreme to extend His reign everywhere in the world and remembers with gratitude and an adoration and an ecstasy the felicity of the memory of these footprints that I have left behind on the earth and transforms the atoms. The earth, the rocks, the dust, the water, and the air, all that constitutes this universe implores for a new birth to blossom in the joy of participating in the new consciousness. Our Divine Mother says, "This is the work that I have done without ever knowing it, and yet without Him, nothing would advance." In a teasing tone, our Divine Mother says, "Actually, I have erred a bit because I spoke only about myself, what I have done, like an egoistic like you, as you pose, without ever mentioning what He has done." For this, the child says, "No, Mother, there is no doubt. It is true, all that you have done. You are not boasting." For this, our Divine Mother says, "Yes, it is true. I was just teasing you." There, where we have placed our feet and left our footprints behind, those atoms irradiate and influence others who are in their proximity, and in this way, the work of transmutation continues unabated. You are right, there is a much greater intensity of force emanating from my feet because this force has to pass through the thick crust of the earth through a great resistance in order to reach and touch the inconscience. It is for this reason, says our Divine Mother, that the force passes directly. Wherever, when I bless with my hand, I control the flow of this force and give to each one what he needs when I give my blessings. But Sri Aurobindo had a different way. Like this from far, he could send the force directly either to heal, to uplift, or to bless. I have seen in many cases without even his touching. Whereas me, I restrict a little and give exactly according to the receptivity of the person as much as they can contain and assimilate. I give according to the capacity of the individual, not more nor less. They are happy, but sometimes I'm obliged to give with a lot of intensity and energy when there is a call to help someone from far at the other end of the world, from the other extreme. Our Divine Mother says, when I hear a prayer, I send a force and a will which goes with a lot of intensity either to do what is necessary or to save the person. It is a vibration that emanates from me, and in a fraction of a second, it acts with a determinism even at the other end of the world. At that moment, says our Divine Mother, it is voluntary, direct, and accomplishes the will which I have put into that vibration. Really speaking, it is a very strong force which I send and which acts on the person. It is to save him even from death. But it is not often that I send a force of this intensity. People cannot understand the value of what I have done, of what has been accomplished. Anyway, each step that I have placed awakens matter and resounds there like an echo. Each step is precious that awakens the consciousness in matter. I am enclosed in each atom, and my contact with the earth at each step bursts open the crust and awakens it to the light, says our Divine Mother.